And lots of people there are brokenhearted.
So, and I know you've had people say what we would call the sinner's prayer. They repent and say, yeah, I realize I'm messed up. Okay, I need some help. Jesus, forgive me. Then what happens?
But there is work done inside of us. You know, insecurity, we are vulnerable to situation around us, you know.
Yep.
And many of those people are there in the situation. Like myself, looking to myself, what God done in my life. He come and heal rejection, insecurity in my life. I am complete person right now.
So do these people then actually get
same situation,
stopped
like,
their drugs?
Yes.
Okay.
Free from alcohol, free from drugs, come up to the street, become normal people and participate in society. Be restored back to the family, you know. They are men, you know, fathers, which...
Right, and that's what we want to see. And realistically, I think that the mayor and all people in Calgary, regardless of their religious background, do want to see that, sincerely. But how do you make it happen? Because you're not working with the nicest people in the world, first of all, because of the situations they're in. And so, okay, so you've seen these people, some of them come off of drugs. Do they actually at all, do you find them housing? Do some of them come back to volunteer for you?
Yeah, for example, this is recent. Last Sunday, we had a lady that came to us and she says, I'm willing to give a testimony. So we went with the camera for others to see that there is a reality, that there is power, that actually people changed. She says, I was 30 years homeless on the streets of Calgary. When I met Jesus, when I heard the gospel from you guys here, it changed my life. And she says, I'm so glad. 1.5 years, it's my anniversary. I'm free from crack cocaine, drugs, crystal meth, the whole 9 yards. She has a house, she lives outside, she's not homeless anymore. And we have those kind of people over and over again.
See, that's exciting, because as I tell you what, the homeless community, you know, I mean, we say there's many homeless, and there is in that sense, but they tend to congregate downtown. They know each other. They know this lady.
That's right.
She's not lying. They've seen her there for 30 years.
That's
they've been there that long. So they know, well, whoa, isn't that Sarah, or whatever her name is, right? So that's a powerful testimony. So that's encouraging. I'm glad you guys are getting some results that way. Now, so I guess what's hindering you? You're saying perhaps the city is hindering you here in this situation. Where are you at right now? They moved you to a different park. You're still using loudspeakers, I understand, so still technically breaking the law, okay? Well, yes and no.
That's right.
Like you say, you don't think you're breaking the law. The city argues that you are breaking the law, okay? But you're using the loudspeakers. Are you getting more tickets for loudspeakers, or are you continuing to get tickets for feeding the poor without a permit? Is that continuing now, or no?
No, it stopped after when we were surrounded by the police officers and have been a little bit harassed by them, and there was so many of them, and Bogdan received a ticket for feeding the poor, and they stole our property.
Well, they took your sign. That's a whole other issue. Maybe we'll come to that in a second, but okay.
So after that, we decided that, okay, it's time to let the wilder, you know, broad of people to know what's going on in Calgary. So we posted that at the YouTube. And
on YouTube?
YouTube.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And since we did that, they never showed up again.
Interesting.
They stopped.
Okay.
They realized that they know they're breaking the law. They know we have the camera there. They're going to be captured next time they're going to break the law. So they decided to back off.
But you've got another court case coming up, or I don't know. I mean, you've got all these tickets here that have kind of piled up, and there may be what may happen with this, because they're all constitutionally related. You may have to have a separate court case coming down the road dealing with all of this. Is that already scheduled, or is that?
We already went to the court. We had 19 cases before the judge, and the Crown prosecutor said that this has to be tried right now because we are very dangerous people. Actually, we are in civil disobedience, and it's in the best public interest. He said that this whole thing would be put to stop.
Right. Okay.
Of course, there is Charter of Rights issues, so that was out of the jurisdiction of that judge. I had 5 warrants on my arrest. 5 of them, and I turned myself into a police hands, and they said, we don't want to keep you here, you go out.
Okay.
So, but
yeah, they obviously know you're not dangerous. I mean, but this is lawyer talk, right? So,
nevertheless, we have 19 tickets that we have to fight in a court of law, and this whole thing was scheduled for October 4th in a criminal.
Is that still happening, October 4th?
That's right.
Okay, so something to pray for is October the 4th.
Yeah.
You're going to be in court, and now realistically, that could be postpone again, because the judge is probably going to say, you know what, this is out of my jurisdiction, and then you're going to come into one big court case down the road. which should make for some interesting fireworks.
And you know,
Okay.
we come to this point. The Crown Prosecutor told our lawyers this, that I received an orders from the City Hall not to help you in any way, oppose everything you're trying to do. So
Okay.
that just gives you a background
Yeah.
of what kind of a malicious spirit is
You know,
behind it.
I guess what I would like to see, and it bothers me, I mean, you know, regardless, let's say if it's a Buddhist group, an atheist group, or a Christian group, all right, they're feeding the homeless, okay, and they're preaching their religious message. Great, fine. All right, they're there to help the homeless. They're there risking their lives, okay, you know, spending their own valuable time doing that, their own funds. They're not using city money for that.
No.
They're getting some results. So does the city say, gosh, we'll sick the Rottweilers on them because we don't like the way they're doing it? Or do they go and say, listen, you know, there's some things here that don't quite fit with our bylaws. Can you adjust this? All right, whatever. You know, and that would be much better to just kind of to sit down and say, let's do this and that, you know, and instead of going to the courts that way. So, I mean, I guess it bothers me because the homeless are the ones who really suffer in the
That's
meantime
right.
when things get hindered. So, but again, I'm going to be totally open to anybody calling in saying, hold on a second, maybe you're causing your own problems, Art, you know, because, you know, if you would be more diplomatic, then maybe the city wouldn't have responded that way, and you know, and so forth. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, well, I guess we'll see where our viewers go on that when our callers come in on that one. You did write a letter to the mayor as well, and I appreciate the way it's written because actually in it you admit some of your own shortcomings. You're basically saying, you know what, I take full responsibility for some of the way I've handled some of these things because I know you've had some confrontations with the mayor as well, and you're saying, you know what, let's have a meeting here, and I want to be at peace. I want to work, you know, with you. But unfortunately, the mayor's office has not responded to that letter at this point. Okay, so hopefully that happens down the road. It would be nice. All right, we'll come back to that sign thing in a bit here too. I think what we want to do though is take some phone calls here for you. All right, and I'm going to take a look at the curve view. We asked people on the street, you know, whether, you know, whose responsibility it is, I guess, first of all, to help the homeless, as well as some opinions on this whole issue of should the city ticket for feeding the homeless without a permit or not. Here's the response.
Whose job is it to provide affordable housing for the homeless?
Fellow citizens.
Should be a little bit from the government, a little bit of the local government, and a little bit of people.
It is the government's job to provide affordable housing for the homeless, but not just affordable housing, but like a wage that is capable of paying for a house and ensuring that housing costs don't spiral out of control as a result of inflation.
Overall, it's got to be a combined effort, I guess, between federal, provincial, and municipal governments, as far as I know.
Now, should cities ticket groups that feed the homeless even though they don't have a permit?
I would disagree just because they need to eat, and I think it's kind of a waste of resources to be ticketing something like that when there's much bigger things to worry about.
Well, yeah, I think so. I think with everything should be like regulated. I don't know. I think so.
I don't think the city should do it, but neither should they be breaking the law. You put the city in a tough place.
I don't think so. Groups that are trying to help should be encouraged to help instead of, you know, discouraged from it. Either that or they should make them easier to obtain and more affordable than they are now.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they should need a food permit. Not at all. No, I mean, it's giving. It's giving to the community, to the people that need it.
Okay, your opinion's welcome. Some lines open at this point, 1-888-816-2545. Are street churches' rights being violated, or are they causing their own problems by waging civil disobedience? What's our Christian response? You know, what should it be in this kind of a situation, right? Your thoughts are welcome on either side here. Let's go to Robert first from Ontario. Hi, Robert.
Hi. A question for Artur and the other guest.
Okay.
Is what do you think about, I know I attend some churches here that are evangelical, and they're very heavily in support of cutting back in any social housing, and they're very, very apt, like very, very in parity politically with your province out there in Alberta.
Right.
Do you think that the churches should stop the policies and tell their favorite political party to, because this reminds me of the days of General Jaroniowski before Cardinal Wojtyła in Poland got up and stood up for some rights.